money, print money, cash, money,
Welp.
capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash,
Money, Welp.
capitalism, raise a bunch of money,
Super chat.
money.
They're salty as the sea, calling us no-code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
Buy my book! Buy my book! Buy my book! Buy my book!
Yeah, g'day again, ladies and gentlemen. It is me again, the Bio-Boosted Squirrel. And today, as soon as I slide in there, yes, it is me. Wait. Yes, thank you, Hypnotic. Get out of my rafters. Anyway, today we are going to go and have a look at what Drizzle did with his old troll job, I think I'm calling it. Yes, so let's go over to the screen and have a look. Here I am, and I'm here with my friend Canadian Jesus, Zant, or Canadian Jeebus, sorry. Zant, hello, say hello.
Hello there, eh?
Hello there, eh? And there's a particular reason I actually picked you to come on the show today. It's because you're Canadian and partially Jeebus as well. Canadian Jeebus. Thank you for joining me.
Pretty sure I'm Canadian. Canada's in a bit of an identity crisis at the moment. So.
Yeah, well, as we call it, far northeast Australia, but that's a different story for another time. Anyway, so you know very little about what's going on with this shit, right?
Very little, yeah.
Very little. I mean,
very
besides
little.
the things I've shown you and sort of filled you in on, this is new to you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're gonna read through some of McDizzle's tweets and have a look at his video and come to a conclusion after that. Well, I've already come to a conclusion. I think the guy's as unethical as fuck, and what he does borders on illegality. Allegedly. Always got to say allegedly around here, Canadian Jeebus. Just remember that.
Yep.
Because I'm not a
sure,
reporter.
allegedly.
I'm not a reporter like McDizzle touts himself as. So yeah, more just an over-caffeinated autistic squirrel.
Well, I mean, a squirrel's a squirrel.
That's right.
Got to be a little
don't
nuts.
fuck with squirrels. Rick and Morty posted it perfectly. So here we've got tweets
Or Canadians, for that matter.
That's right. Canadian squirrels are, God, the worst.
Or you'll be sorry.
So yeah, we've got Dizzle's tweet here. Obviously, he put this out after, SmashJT. Well, before Smash posted his retraction video. None of this is reality, and I went through this in a video I did last week. None of this is reality, and I know this because I am the leaker. Okay, cool. So, cool. You did it. Okay, cool. I did this to demonstrate the bad faith reporting in gaming news, especially around a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ethics in game journalism is important, and that's where I sort of lol a little bit. You know why? We'll get to that. Smash could have asked for proof, and yeah, sure, he probably could have reached out to another source, maybe at Ubisoft if he's got one, and maybe risked them exposing themselves to Runzu, the guy whose name Dizzle used to send that email and create an email account. Leave that hanging for a bit. On a different platform. He could have reached out to other sources, but he didn't. And, sure, I just said that. He did not verify any credentials as he indicated. Now that, he did what he could, as far as I could tell. The only communication is attached, which, that's the email there. So, okay, cool. And that's the same one Smash showed with those blacked out bits removed, which showed Runzu's name and the rest of it, which you had thoughts on that too. Go, tell me how you feel about that with Smash showing the name.
I mean, I think it's kind of like just going to cause... It just drags somebody in that doesn't need to be drug in.
I agree with that. At the same time, I think that he could have done this differently. Dizzle.
Could have blurred it out. It wasn't really relevant.
Yeah. No, that's true. But in a way to support Smash's defense of it, he used an actual employee's name, put in, what he was working on, and I've got the LinkedIn pulled up. We'll have a look at that. But anyway, so
you said you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how he could have confirmed it, but I mean,
right.
He kind of says it right there, right? He could have said, "Hey, well, ping one of my accounts from your LinkedIn, or post a thing with the word cheese. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are ways.
Yeah, you know
to
what? That's actually could have worked. But again,
right.
I mean,
like, you can, if you have a source and you want to confirm that you're speaking to the actual source and they're on an account that is, they have public facing accounts, if they want to confirm that they are them, they can do that in an unsuspicious way.
Well, and here's what Smash.
My
can say
insider
about
reached
that.
out to me, and while I don't want to go into much detail, I will say I don't know this individual, but I have personally verified who they are by the name that they gave me and the credentials that they showed.
So yeah, I mean, by the credentials they showed and the name, so fair enough. That's.
I mean, it seems like this guy only gave a name and no credentials, so he's kind of like exaggerating the credentials part.
In Smash's retraction video, he actually showed the whole thing and what it matches the LinkedIn. Here we go. I'll pull that up as soon as it loads. That's not it. This one. I've got that one there for another reason. So here we've got Runzu's, generalist programmer, Ubisoft Montreal, contract full-time from July last year to the present, 8 months, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So he's in Canada as well as Dizzle. He's working
He's
on
in French Canada.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed codename Hex. So he's working on the next game that's coming out, which he may have had information about. It's a plausible story. In other words, when you go in and have a look at all of this, he's worked as a gameplay programmer for Beanox, internship, gameplay programmer for Le Catnip Collective. He's got a history here. So
I hope Assassin's Creed Hex you play as a witch doctor in the bayou.
So anyway, I decided that I'd go and ask Dizzle about this over on X, and I went into one of his threads here, and where he says, "I don't say it enough, but thank you for all the support and digging my perspectives. It means a lot that you don't think I am nuts. Sorry." And then I ask him, "What's your thoughts on Section 403, subsection C there in here?" And I probably don't get legal stuff right because I'm an over-caffeinated autistic squirrel, and this is this is a guide. I've got that pulled up too, but I'm curious. And I don't think I was rude or anything like that. I might be a little me, but that's what happens when you get the squirrel's attention. And he'd say, "I'd say none of that applies to anything to do with this." And yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. And I was just curious as all. So you don't have thoughts on it at all? How about how it applies to this then? And I post SmashJT's video. Just really curious about it, How about how it applies to this? And then I post that tweet that I originally showed. And he says, "I made a whole video about it. Check it out." And that's what we're here to do. Because, I don't back down from a dare. So here we are. We're going to have a look at that. Oh, I did. And I already have. I've looked at it and I've sort of had a few thoughts as I went along. And we'll cover those. And I did. I just want to know what you thought. What you thought someone using someone's name without their knowledge or permission is ethical, according to you. Runzu's name, to be precise, because we know whose name it is, despite Smash's what would you call it, the goodness of doing that. I don't know what word I'd use here. And then I tagged Ubisoft in here as well. And this is where he blocked me. I don't know him. Might be a few of them that work there. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Okay. I've lost my tweet that I had up here. Did I? Where was that? Anyway, I managed to reply to that particular one there. Here it is. I couldn't reply to it, but I managed to write this in. Don't know him. There might be a few of them that work there. Well, no, you knew exactly whose name you were using because Smash showed the email you admitted you sent him. So I couldn't reply with that because Dizzle went and blocked me, which is fair. I get blocked a lot on Twitter. Doesn't really matter. But I went and had a look on LinkedIn because I still have access to it. I'm not IP blocked like Smash is. And as you can see, there's one guy here with the name Runzu that pops up as someone that works at Ubisoft. Where'd he go? He was at the top. We'll refresh it. Huh. How do you know?
I see it.
Is that
He's
him?
third.
Third. There he is.
Third.
Okay. So, third out of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of the 10 on this one page, can you see any others that work at Ubisoft Montreal?
Nah, but I mean, if the guy just pulled up anybody at Ubisoft and copied the first name, he wouldn't know if there was more of them or not.
That's true, but wouldn't more of them pop up if he searched for anyone at Ubisoft Montreal?
Well, no, because he wouldn't have necessarily searched for that name, right? He could just have a list of names in front of him and said, I'll just take some random name of anybody that might work at Ubisoft.
I see. Yeah, that ties into the whole conspiratorial thing that I've got thinking about. Allegedly. This is all allegedly, of course. Sorry, but continue with what you were saying. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, just quick copy-paste job. I mean, obviously he's trying to troll this guy, see if he's checking his sources, right? Like, that seems to be his goal. His goal is not like, I'm going to pretend to be somebody and extract money from you or fake an investment or, do some kind of, like, financial fraud. He's, trolling and, I don't know.
Didn't think of what he was actually doing?
Yeah, I don't think he was really thinking about it.
There you go. So,
like most people.
So, well, now that we've found that there's only, the one Runzu working at Ubisoft, I went and had a look at his, and yeah, it pretty much confirms that he works at Ubisoft Montreal and is working on an Assassin's Creed game, which may give him access to release dates for Shadows being pushed back or whatever. The point of this is it wasn't an out of place, out of the realm of possibility rumor that this guy gave SmashJT in the first place. So, yeah, he did some research. He had to figure out someone specific, I think, to make it seem more legitimate. So he's thought about it. He's premeditated it. He's gone ahead and created an email account, included the guy's name, included the details from his LinkedIn page to make it look legit, and not even thinking that this might be against the law, which is a dumb thing to do, but whatever. We're here now. So, yeah.
It might be. I don't know that it really is. I mean, you'd have to look at the elements of the law. I think there's four elements of the law, yeah?
That's the 4 pillars of... Here we go. This is it here. Let me blow that up a bit. So, Justice Institute, British Columbia. Me being autistic, put the in institute up in front of the injustice. Section 403, identity fraud, formerly personation, which this seems pretty self-explanatory. It's not that long. So, yeah, here we've got 403, Section 1. Everyone commits an offence who fraudulently personates another person, living or dead. A, with intent to gain advantage for themselves or another person. Okay, yeah, no, he didn't do that. With intent to obtain any property. Yeah, no, property is not this. But this one, Section C here, I think is the one that if anyone decided to take legal action, this is what they'd be focusing on, and the actual details of how Drizzle went about setting this up and getting the idea from someone else who apparently has done it to Smash as a BioWare insider, who was right more than anything, and, apparently was pissed off that they were. So that's the risk that they run, telling fibs. But again, here we are.
So here's the problem with this, right? Is I think that if you're saying, okay, the intent is to damage the person being impersonated or another person, well, I don't think that you'd get very far in court saying that the intent was to damage the Ubisoft employee, because he immediately revealed it wasn't them, right?
Yeah,
so we can eliminate, right? So really, we're only looking at another person.
Yeah, SmashJT. There is another bit to this. There is another. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off here, but there is another bit to this that goes into a bit more detail. That's the next page. So yeah, sorry. Finish what you were saying.
Usually, and I am no lawyer, but do not take legal advice from a podcast.
Absolutely not.
But my understanding is when you're talking about your intent to cause harm to a person. I don't know that that's the case, because it seems like he could have aimed at anybody in the industry. It was more like, well, my intent is to show that there isn't rigor in the industry. This is the guy that I decided probably doesn't have rigor because somebody's telling me already that he's sort of not checking stuff.
And I can't disagree
so
with you
let's
there.
find out, right?
I agree with you on that. I just think he's gone about it the completely wrong way.
Oh, yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, he could have done better. At the same time, he's sitting there saying, Smash needs to do better. You need to look in the mirror before you go flinging the... And when it comes down to it, we'll get to the 4 pillars. yeah, we'll get there. So we've gone through all of that. I think we can watch the video a bit now. How about that? Let's do that. So here we go.
Yeah, go.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's been a crazy couple of days, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to dive into a crazy social
video, but
You can hear it though? You can't hear it? Or
no.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
No.
Oh, hang on. Give me 1 second. I'll fix this bit. Technical difficulties. Give me a sec here, people.
This is what you get when you have squirrels in the wires.
That's right. Hang on. I'll stop that one and actually show that one. Click on that one, Zant, and see how you go.
Let's do it. There we are.
experiment and the fallout from it. If you are here
it's good.
because you hate me, at least give the video a chance and let me know what you think. And if you're here because you support my style of journalism, you can join the channel as a member or drop anything for a super. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new.
Drop a like for a super, or subscribe and whatnot. So I'm just saying.
I'm gonna have some detractors, and sure, there are some things I regret. But at the end of the day, we drove some fascinating conversation around journalism and gaming, and that is a good thing. And I'm not backing down from any conversations. Smash.
He's right. He's definitely doing that.
If you want to chat, I'm happy to.
True.
Might be your best night for super chats yet. First of all, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning things, but I'm always on a quest for truth. And I've done some interesting investigations into the culture warriors of today within Gamergate. I'm hoping this video is some of the more interesting journalism that you'll see. If you're interested in my other reporting, check out my channel, including a groundbreaking investigation into Ember by Grums.
Keep that in mind.
I say this because I do have a heavy record of thorough research. We need to talk about accountability in gaming journalism in 2025. It's moved to a wild place, and I'm not just talking about the Kotakos of the world dying, because they are. It's the unchecked new journalism in gaming that has become what Gamergate 1 was meant to fight about, which was ethics within game journalism. I think that's something that everyone can get behind. You know, we have the woke mind virus, but there's also the anti-woke mind virus. And a lot of it stems from questionable reporting from YouTubers with anonymous sources. Specifically within the gaming space, there's such a low threshold for large YouTubers that anything can get published as fact. And of course, you can always have a disclaimer that says, hey, this is a rumor. If you're gonna believe this person, sure. But at the end of the day, if you're a large YouTuber and you have a website that you provide gaming news to people, you're gonna get questioned if the information seems illegitimate.
And that's again, he's right. Question everything.
Yeah,
no disagreement.
no disagreement there.
Yeah.
But do gamers want that information thrown out into the collective zeitgeist without a high level of confidence that it's correct? We're going to talk about at least how some of that information gets out there. Often within the scope of yellow journalism, which is a fantastic way to drive views and to get money. Now, yellow journalism within gaming hasn't specifically been explored, but we're going to do a bit of that. Of course, a big part of yellow journalism is taking sides on political issues, as well as reporting stories using anonymous sources, and we've seen a lot of that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. This type of content is like the tabloids of video games. Now, do I think yellow video game journalism should exist? Sure, but gamers like accuracy and call-out patterns, and that's why we're here today. This is a fantastic playbook on how to drive views on YouTube. But it does come at the expense of truth and facts. But in any case, we should have an informed conversation about it. I mean, I get it.
Look, this is where I start to roll my eyes and go, oh, the irony sort of thing, if you know what I mean.
They wouldn't want a pile of views in their YouTube channel. And don't get me wrong, it does take skill and talent to do what Smash does and others do. And one thing I will call out is some of these other people are like John Della Rose, who's trying to see this as an own on Smash, and it could have easily been him. Personal message to...
Yeah, I think we all know about my issues with John Della Rose at this point. If you don't, well, look it up. Go check the other videos.
John, you're a freak, but maybe we'll explore that in another video. But we'll do a breakdown of how we arrived here. An example from some time ago with SmashJT was with Concord. The most epic failure of all time. Smash did some reporting on his perceived contributions of an employee and their alleged impact to the destruction of Concord. The information was so off that a Concord employee reached out to me, one that I did verify. I did a couple of things to reach a high level of confidence.
Okay, no, there we go. So, okay, how did you verify them then, Drizzle? How do you know you're not getting trolled? That's part of the double-edged sword, isn't it? None of you know when you're getting trolled, and we'll get to the bit where he says, oh, someone actually reached out to me and said, hey, do this, which, doesn't help his case, I think anyway.
With that source. For example, I reviewed their profile next. They weren't hiding anything. Or for another that corroborated things, they could send some proof. I guess the point being, if someone trusts you enough as a conduit of the information that they want to provide, they should be able to trust you enough to give you at least enough to know that they are sincere. And taking it at face value has a massive risk for misinformation. However, based on accounts from 4 other people that I was actually able to verify, a number of things that he said were factually wrong. You can check that video out if you want. And you know what? He might have talked to somebody there. And maybe that was their experience. However, a number of his statements were very broad and reaching and, well, not correct based on my research. Either way, that drew me further into heavy skepticism of anything SmashJT was reporting. Alright, fast forward to a couple days ago. I got a message indicating that Smash will print anything.
And here's the first bit. So, someone contacts him and says, want to blow SmashJT up. Go on LinkedIn, find a random name for a developer at any studio, make a fake email on anything but Gmail or Outlook or anything like that, and send him insider stuff, and with the air quotes there, he wants to hear. He'll post it within the hour. And yeah, he did all of that, which, okay, you called it, but you also got some of that other BioWare stuff right. So how does that work? Who is this? I want to know. Because I know there's another guy by the name of Airbag that says, oh, I've been sending insiders leaks for months on X over there. Twitter. It's Twitter. Anyway, there, I just, a good lawyer would be looking at all of this, I think, if anyone decided to do anything about it, as Chaos Borg likes to be whinging at me about in the comments of my actual video. Go and check it out.
Yeah,
Hello,
but I mean,
Chaos Borg,
sometimes with something like this, sometimes the best thing to do is for both people to shake hands, learn a lesson, and
right. Hey, look,
move
I
forward,
can't.
you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Yeah,
Because I am, I am a Canadian, so sometimes you just gotta say sorry. Eh?
Well, true. Anyway, let's keep going.
To go to LinkedIn, find a random name for a developer at any studio, make a fake email on anything, and send him insider stuff he wants to hear. He'll post it within the hour. I did it a few times now. I'm one of his BioWare insiders. Now, I have no interest in blowing SmashJT up. I'm sure he's created a variety of enemies, and this sounds like one of them. I did ask him for additional proof. He locked himself out of the account and didn't have screenshots. However, he did provide me the insider name and email address. And Smash, if you want...
Oh, so exactly like what you did to Smash. That's interesting. Yeah.
Want to know that name and email address? I'd be happy to provide it directly to you. I'm not going to post their name out there for everyone, though. But
what does that mean? He doesn't have the password to the email that he sent. What? That bit sort of had me scratching my head last night. I'm still scratching it, having heard it again. Anyway.
Allegedly, one of your BioWare insiders are fake. The crazy thing is, this fake leak ended up happening. Part of it did anyways. Specific article about a BioWare insider leaking all. Veilguard sales numbers, internal culture war, and layoffs incoming.
Also, what kind of psychopath uses the light beam? Seriously, what is wrong with you people?
Now, we do know layoffs did happen, but this specific piece right here was kind of funny. Let's find it. This part about a private chat group at BioWare with more than 10 people in it that follow his content specifically, that's pretty made up. Allegedly. And again, I would be happy to be proven wrong. That specific article was written just hours after this was sent by this gentleman. I have a level of skepticism with this, of course, because the BioWare layoffs did happen. Although I disagree with this guy's approach. I followed up to flag this just shortly.
Okay, so if you disagree with the approach, why did you go ahead and do it? See, you see the contradictory nature of
somebody
that?
Sure, but somebody did make a claim, and, maybe the claim was bullshit.
Yeah.
How would you verify, right?
And again, that comes back to the whole thing. It's hard to do all of this stuff, and recognizing that he got, I think, and putting out the retraction, saying, look, yeah, I got, shows Smash to have at least more integrity in what's happened here than Drizzle, who's doubled down and said that, he did the right thing, and that's what rubs me the wrong way, if you get what I'm saying.
Sure.
After his video was posted.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I don't so let's say he had gone about all of this the right way, and he hadn't used somebody's name, right? Like, he used an entirely made up name, right? So that it's not like a real person or whatever.
Right.
The outcome would have been the same if this guy would have published it. Really?
I think he probably would have looked at it with more skepticism if it was a made-up name and not someone from the studio, if they claimed they were a janitor or something, some lower-level administrative maybe job or something like that. Again, how do you check without getting a DNA test and talking to them on the phone at headquarters?
Getting them to do something on an account that's official.
Yeah, that
seems unrelated, really.
Yeah,
that's...
Yeah, maybe they can all take that into account from here on out. That's a good suggestion, Canadian Jeeves.
Well, gotta be ways to confirm stuff.
Yeah, no, you're quite a smart guy. I like it.
This dude just left it. I think that's 1, incredibly irresponsible, and 2, I'm doing an actual report. I'm doing an actual story. If true, of course, that helped no one, and actually made it look like a fake leak was true. And honestly, that doesn't really help anyone, outside of the additional validation that, hey, Smash does just run with things. My intentions were pretty noble, and they didn't just come from out of the blue. However, I'm fascinated to know if the...
Yeah, that I'm not entirely convinced of, I'm just going to say.
Names we have match up, Smash. He also recommended I try it for myself. So I did. The only thing being a name and a role of someone that worked at Ubisoft, along with other nebulous information, but I did not link to any sort of LinkedIn or socials or anything like that. I had some ethical and moral questions around this. I did this after careful consideration of previous instances where there's been significant doubts and insider information. And Smash, sorry it was you, it could have easily been Endymion. So I created an email address and I dropped...
See, that makes me scratch my head even harder. It's like, if you took all this time to consider these things, why didn't you consider the consequences that may befall you using someone else's name to create an email account and then send, potential true information, no matter if it was fake or not? You've opened yourself up to issues there in the first place. That's not very smart.
Yeah, Game-O journalists are not really required to be the brightest.
Yeah, that's why doing this oh my god, it's a rabbit hole. Anyway.
Drafted up an email saying that I was a random employee at Ubisoft and that the game was going to be delayed due to a massive amount of bugs and the desecration of the shrines. I did not link to any LinkedIn profile or anything like that. Maybe this mysterious employee doesn't have a LinkedIn and just shares a name with that Ubisoft employee. What I expected to have happen versus what happened was very different. I expected SmashJT to ask for proof, and I would not have provided it to him. I would have reported what I had found. An example of proof like this I get from former Firewalk employees. And that's often in corroboration with other facts. That might be, okay, is this coming from an account on X that's been around for 10 years and it obviously says what this person does? However, I was very surprised that the threshold of this was simply send an email, no questions asked. And then shortly after this, Smash had an article out as well as...
And that's not entirely true. Smash did try to have a look as far as he could at the time to get the story out. being that Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out on the 20th, and it happened like, what, 2 weeks ago, maybe-ish? It's, you know, there is that sort of time.
I mean, I don't think when you say as far as he could, you mean not as far as he could at all, and rushed because he wanted to get some quick clicks before the
yeah, you're right. No, you are
the time
right.
when, like, he just sort of sacrificing a journalistic jag.
It could have taken a bit longer than a weekend. No, you're right. You are right. That's yeah. I mean, it could, a couple more days even would have helped. But again, this is again. I don't know what to do with all of this shit.
The video, and I post this on X. None of this is reality, and I know this because I am the leaker. See attached. And the attached is the email I sent to SmashJT, of course, with the personal information of the name I use redacted. And this has garnered a whole lot of conversation. Smash eventually responded with another video, and Smash took a little bit of extra effort in his video to make sure that he had my full name and the city I lived in within the video. I think I had some old accounts tied in with my personal name. Took a little bit of effort, but not much, but he made sure to post it. But hey, my stuff should have been locked down better. Lesson learned. But do what you gotta do, Jeffrey. I know you said when you're mad at someone you lash out, and you definitely do. You shared a random Ubisoft employee's LinkedIn and portfolio information or something? That's working for a company that Smash actively wants to see fail.
Hang on. That was after you gave him that information in the email. You see what the problem there is? I might be wrong on this, but you gave him the information. He wouldn't have looked that up by himself otherwise. He tried, and again, he could have gone further, but you sent him that information, Drizzle. I'm just saying.
They don't need his help. They might do it on their own, but we'll see. Again, making assumptions based on nebulous information. And I apologize to the developer for that because I didn't take that.
With that, where he says nebulous information, is that true? Do you think, Canadian Jeebus?
I think so. Yeah. If you're just saying, here's a name, I'm definitely real, bro. Like, I don't know that that's enough, right? Like, that is pretty nebulous, right? It's like, hey, I'm very real Nigerian prince at gmail.com.
Well, when you put it like that. See what my brain actually hurts fucking thinking about any of this. I don't think anyone's right here. Either side of this. So I don't think any of this has been handled well at all.
I don't even know that. I don't think that anyone's necessarily wrong.
Right.
Either. Like, I think that this guy was like trying to do a good thing, right? He's saying like, hey, journalists are, or at least people claiming to be journalists, which he is
noble
too,
intent.
which is a little hypocritical or whatever. But he's saying like, we're not checking facts, we're not checking sources. This guy, people are telling me I just need to send him an email and he's gonna publish it. Like, let's find out if that's true. I think like that's noble intent, like, because I think that your first responsibility isn't to your clicks, it's to your audience to give them accurate shit, right? But maybe that's not as profitable, so like people sacrifice integrity. I don't know. But
honestly, look, that is a big thing in the gaming sphere at the moment, with grifters and people like John Delaroze coming in and claiming game, like, that guy's been kicked out of every other fucking organization on the face of the planet. So yeah.
And then on the other hand, even though this guy didn't check his sources, at least he did a retraction. But a retraction is really just an admission that you didn't do your job right.
That's yeah. You can look at it that way. Sure. Yeah. No, that's right. Okay. Yep. All right. We'll keep going with this.
And to account this social experiment. And it sucks that Smash posted your information in order to own me or something. However, Smash is the one that shared his information with tens of thousands of people. This is what Smash said about vetting the insider initially.
My insider reached out to me, and while I don't want to go into much detail, I will say I don't know this individual, but I have personally verified who they are by the name that they gave me and the credentials that they showed. So
now look, in that he's not being dishonest by what he saw and the credentials that he was shown, and had someone else look up Runzu on LinkedIn, because again, he's IP banned from it. So yeah, it's a mess.
This was simply a name and a role and some stuff that's incorrect in there. I mean, when you have a website that's dedicated to showing off people that includes some of the worst writers.
Okay, yeah, so some of the information was false, but what if it ended up being true again? If that had happened, you'd probably look like more of an idiot. Or a soothsayer of some kind, maybe.
Editors and others
Maybe.
who have contributed to the downfall of game journalism over the years for various reasons. It's just wild to me that you would have such low standards. And this isn't just a gutsy out of nowhere, it's watching a pattern. Like having significant gripes with mainstream journalism, and some of them may be legitimate. But to practice this and pass it off as journalism is just wild. Or not to at least hold yourself to that same standard. Or what standard you would like to see. And sure, you could say, this isn't journalism, I'm just talking about a rumor with my friends. But the end result is closer to tabloid journalism for gaming. And that's alright, but we gotta talk about the obvious. Does he want mainstream media to disappear and be replaced by him with those same standards? In this...
Yeah, see, I don't think he does. I think he wants them to do better at the same time. That's always been sort of SmashJT's thing. That's why he started the, Kotaku Detected and wants them shut down because, oh my god, Kotaku is a hot mess and a half. Radioactive shit.
Look, I mean, the thing with like game journalism, it's always been kind of ragtag, right? Like,
right.
So back in the 90s, I was in junior high, and I was writing articles for Game Sages, which eventually became IGN,
Holy
right?
shit.
Like before, right? Like because that was their original thing. So I would have known like Matt Casamassina when he would like by the Mark Boson,
The plot thickens.
Fran Marabella. I think we chatted a bit here and there, and I was mostly just doing like walkthrough stuff, just
Sure.
and it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
all just volunteer, right? Like it wasn't like a big company at the time. It was basically a message board for the most part, but there were certain people that did more. Now, eventually they got bought out and it became Information Game Network, and then that was sold and it turned into something else and went through a bunch of changes until it was a legitimate company. But they had to really change the internal culture. There was they couldn't just have anybody doing anything from anywhere. They had to have actual offices and proper lawyers and facilities, and you start to have obligations. They started looking for people to actually get credentials, know how to do reporting. People go to school to learn how to do journalism for a reason. It's not just
Absolutely.
oh, I'm asking questions, so now I'm a journalist,
Yeah,
right?
I
think, yeah,
yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
there's this like idea that because, and it's sort of like grown out of the whole like fake news, people think, well, if the news is
Right.
fake, anybody can
Yeah.
tell the news, and we need alternative news to combat that. So anybody telling you stuff is just alternative news, and that makes them journalists, but just less shitty journalists because they're not working for the
And again, that
corrupt whatever, right?
Right. And that
know?
can also form cult-like behavior in people as well. It's tribalism and especially gamers can be volatile and disagree with each other, but as a whole, generally, as long as we're playing games and not talking about this kind of shit, we get along pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think there could be better accountability, and
Always.
there's this two
Always.
sides to it, right? Like
Yeah.
us gamers, we enjoy reading a good leak, right? But
Right.
at the same time, you want game journalists to be ethical, but ethical game journalists wouldn't be giving us the leaks we enjoy.
And therein lies the rub, doesn't it? Fucking
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll keep going. We're getting there. We're about half-ish way through it.
Case probably lower. Make it make sense. Do they want him to have the exact same politics as him in every case? What is it? And if you don't want a standard in journalism, that's all right too. Do what you want, man. It's working out good. But it's tough to take your criticisms around mainstream media seriously when this type of behavior demonstrates that you're no better than them. And come on, man. The only thing hurt was your pride a little bit. I heard you made over $1,800 in donations talking about me, and that's awesome, man. Get your money, homie. Lots of it around.
Money, print money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, super chat money.
They're salty as the sea, calling us code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
You won, man. It's working out good. But it's tough to take your criticisms around mainstream media seriously when this type of behavior demonstrates that you're no better than them. And come on, man, the only thing hurt was your pride a little bit. I heard you made over $1,800 in donations talking about me, and that's awesome, man. Get your money, homie. Lots of it around for everybody. Nothing I say or do is going to change that, and that's not my goal. It was part of my wider...
That's another problem. There's a lot of pocket watching and, you know, watching how much money successful YouTubers make. And SmashJT blew up. I don't know if you probably wouldn't know this, but he blew up from, you know, less than 20,000 subscribers last year to over 100,000 in like 12 months. Within the last 12 months, he's had that happen. And he's been on YouTube for 8 years in the first place. So his explosion of popularity has been, yeah. And that might have, you know, sort of thrown him for a loop too. Like, he may not have been getting information like he may be now. So he may not have a clue about what he's doing most of the time. But most of what SmashJT reports ends up being true. This is one, maybe a couple of other, maybe one or two other things. Total 3, at most 2 that I know of anyway, that he's been wrong. This is one of them, and something was something else. I can't remember what that was. But anyway, Levistro might know and tell me in the chat.
Investigation into yellow gaming journalism. I think in 2025, journalism has gotten a lot better because people like you and me are doing it. It's brought up interesting conversation and lots of different opinions. And you'd be lying to yourself if you thought my investigations were not thorough. My detailed investigations into Ember have proved that. Here's my reaction to some key points that Smash made in his video. I've linked his full video in the description. Maybe I'll do a live stream going over the whole
Yeah, release your game, Grums, or at least put something out. You need to do something with that, man. Seriously. That's me. Hurry up.
thing.
And sometimes there'll be bad eggs in the community that try their best to knock people down a peg, especially when those people are showing that they're successful and doing better than they are. So it typically boils down to jealousy, trying to be explained away like, oh no, I'm just trying to prove that you are just a grifter. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Apparently, this person by the name of McDizzle or McDrizzle, I don't even know. This person was trying to troll me, and I guess congratulations, you did like successfully troll me with this email that you sent me from a person that works at Ubisoft, or so I thought, because the email that you went above and beyond, like, props to you, credit all the way.
You're the only one who's mentioned the word grifter or anything to do with grifting. This was not elaborate at all, it just had a name and a role. You would really struggle to find anyone to say that will meet the threshold for reporting in...
And look, I think that's another word that gets thrown around without, and it's lost all meaning now, grifter. Like, everyone's apparently a grifter. I've been called a grifter. I'm not even flipping monetized on this thing. Bloody hell, I'm not asking for anything, and if I did get some money, I'd probably donate most of it to a diabetes research foundation or something.
We know this is an elaborate scheme to hoard nuts.
Well, all the acorns, yes, and the cashews especially. All your cashews are belong to me.
Insider information. In fact, with some made-up stuff in there. Nothing linked, just a name and a role. That threshold he determines as elaborate is insufficient for most people that report on gaming news. And you went ahead and shared that developer's information to tens of thousands of people about a game that you've made piles of content on, actively wanting it to fail. A lot of it based on questionable rumors. I sent them no LinkedIn profile. I didn't share that information with masses of people, nor did I have the intention of doing that. But I know Smash did. The thing is, if the only research is a name and a role, it sounds like you want to believe it versus is it legitimate. Like, I can't wrap my head around making a video to a huge audience saying a game is going to be delayed based on a random email. Wouldn't it go through your mind that this could be anyone? And do you think there's a pretty good chance that a lot of your leaks have been fake? I would suspect so based on this vetting procedure.
It is what it is, but I look at the situation as, hey, it's a learning experience for me. I'm going to try to be better. But trying to say that, oh, this just proves that you're no different than mainstream media, I'm like, okay, here's the thing. Would mainstream media do this? Would they say, hey, I got, this was a troll job?
If mainstream media...
And generally, no. I've never seen JDA or Alyssa McCante or John F. Trent retract any of the shit that they've ever come out with. Like, is just a point for, Smash's credibility in my eyes, anyway. Like,
I mean, it might mean that that he wants to be credible. That doesn't mean his vetting process is good. It just means that he has a bit of integrity beneath a very poor vetting process.
I mean, the vetting process can always be improved, and as he said, he says it at the start of all of his videos. Take it with a grain of salt, just in case this is bullshit, sort of thing. Like, and that's the thing. If you're not doing that in the first place, then you as the viewer need to start taking a grain of salt, because there is some personal discernment when it comes to these sort of things as well, as far as I'm concerned.
Could effectively monetize it like you were doing, they would. Hey, no one's perfect. You make mistakes, I make mistakes, others make mistakes. But it's good that you'll learn from it.
My point being is, nobody's perfect, nor do I expect anyone to be, especially the people that I'm criticizing when I make videos talking about them. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human. I'd like to think that that's something that you'd understand as well.
That's a nice message that hints at compassion and understand.
Look, I think it speaks to Smash wanting to be able to trust people too, because he has said, this is going to hurt the way that I trust anyone that comes forward with a potential story in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
The reality is I get a bunch of angry smashers after me. And when I say after me, just lots of nasty comments, maybe some messages. I'm not going to hold Smash accountable for the transgression of his upset audience. Like this one, Omar, you know which side of the religious fence he bats for. Hateful people, I hate to break it to you. I'm not Muslim. In fact, I'm also half white. Sorry to disappoint you that I'm just a mutt and I'm not a pureblood like y'all. It's interesting to see that I'm deluded and crave attention, and that I think by trying to take someone successful down, it props me up. Guess what? It doesn't. I'm not trying to take anyone down. I can't take anyone down. But I am interested in great reporting. And I've been good at identifying these type of gaps in this specific space. Is that a bad thing? But genuinely curious, I wonder if he knows how aggressive some members of his audience are. And how he's able to reconcile that, people are people. People are human, they make mistakes. Versus having a website where you target numerous people to hold them accountable. And the audience loves that. It even says if you're an enthusiast. I find that kind of funny. Kind of like I'm just a hobbyist hater. And that's the risk with the type of journalism that I have been doing. I will say it's not the best for the mental health, but them's the breaks. There's been a lot of support. There's been some hate as well, though. And
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it takes a lot of effort to come up with, a scheme like this. I'm just saying, like, it would take. You should have thought about it a bit more too. Just on the other hand.
And I do truly feel sorry for anyone that has to go through that. I'm just trying to get through life. I will say my stepfather just had pancreatic cancer surgery on Thursday, and I'm trying to guide my family through that. And now...
Yeah, now look, see, I think this is completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter to what you're trying to do here.
This is outside of journalism, right? This is now just like, here's my story.
Right, yeah. Feel like this is as far as I'm concerned, is compassion farming.
It's context, maybe.
Maybe, but, I don't think it needs to be said. If you're reporting about a guy who fucked up and you baited, you don't need to bring your personal shit into it. That's...
Well, but the other guy, he did the same thing, right? He was like, but I was really busy, and it was the weekend.
Well, no, you are right. Absolutely. No, you're right. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's the other thing. It's where is the line drawn for that sort of thing? Like, when do you... God damn, my head hurts. I'm going to have a Panadol after this.
Navigate through this as well. It is a bit overwhelming. And when I say navigate through this, protect my family, it's Smash shared my name with tens of thousands of people. But yeah, if you think about that being the human impact, I just don't want a bunch of crazy people coming at me. Who would want that? I'm just doing investigative journalism on how easy it is for leaks to get out there. But just as we talked about with yellow journalism...
Okay, so if that was the goal of this, then why is this video out? And why aren't you taking a bit longer to see if you can get other people with it? That would, I would get some more data before I go, focusing on one person for that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Sure. But I mean, I guess this could be a trial balloon. He may do a bigger investigation now,
Possible.
but try to do
possible.
it in a way that's less of a problem, now that he's...
Well,
okay. I mean, he's also saying, I learned some things. I have some regrets about how I
he
approached
is.
this, right? It's not like he's like, fuck you, I was completely right. I think he's saying, well, like, my intentions were in the right place.
Yeah, and look, I can say that. I do get that he's trying to be sincere about it, but again, I think he's gone about it the completely 6 ways from Sunday fucked up wrong way. Anyway, we're getting there. We're about a third of the way from finishing.
often has a political angle to it. In this case, it's like everyone they hate is a leftist activist. Now, I can't speak to whether Smash said this, but I did see this in another video. Mentions of me being like a leftist woke activist. Hate to break it to you, but I'm probably more of a middling centrist. But we're always growing and learning,
because
right?
We're all human. Nobody's perfect. I'm not some giant corporation, some mega Fortune 500. I'm literally a dude in a shed making videos about the game industry, things that I find interesting, and things that insiders pass along to me. And for the most part, I've been pretty spot on with everything that's been sent to me up to this point.
I'd like to see how he's defining spot on. From my perspective, I've seen numerous gaps that just seem to be pushing a narrative. I mean, it's easy to give people confirmation, right?
And this is coming from someone
Meant to pause it there, sorry. He says that I noticed numerous gaps while presenting nothing to support that. That was one thing that I sort of took note of last night and was going to bring up, and here we are.
Mm.
Provide some examples, Drizzle, if you've got them.
McDizzle character, whatever, that has some sort of weird hard-on for hating on Grums. And apparently because I don't hate on Grums too,
Get your game out, Grums.
He then wanted to find a way to knock me down a notch. I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's what you want to do. That's some people just do what they want to do. They play.
Although it was and is disappointing how dismissive you were around the various videos regarding the crowdfunding of Ember. That's about the only problem I have with you and your relationship with Grums.
But I'll say, like, I watched part of McDizzle's video. I didn't watch the whole thing because I was kind of turned off by it felt like he took the perspective of, I bought into this because it's a scam just to make this video to expose him. And I'm like, that it almost feels like you're like trying to find something to be mad about.
He also seems to like talking about scams, so I'm surprised he didn't want to talk about this one. JK, I'm not surprised at all.
I know for a fact that what he's doing is simply because he knows that the attention he can get is by being anti-Grums.
Yes.
I know, like as a YouTuber, he knows that. He knows that his claim to fame, granted, he's not really doing that well, even with the anti-Grum stuff, but he the most attention he's ever gotten was talking about Grums.
No hate, man. Just some general disappointment as a
And
gamer.
when I pair it with all the other information with what was going on with Ubisoft at this time, I'm like, yeah, even with this being a confirmed troll job, that still could happen.
Who knows? Maybe that's some foreshadowing. Look what allegedly happened to the BioWare one.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So, if anything, take it for what it's worth. The information that I present in the video was combined with other insights that I've gotten from other areas alongside what's transpiring right now at Ubisoft, which is a complete cluster shit show that is burning down as we watch. Like, it's happening in real time right now. So getting this email lined up exactly with everything else that...
Yeah, and I think he made a mistake there, like going, oh, this fits so perfectly with everything else. Maybe that sort of didn't help. Let's just say, put it that way.
Made an assumption.
Right.
That I'd been seeing and hearing, and it just made sense. But he was claiming that I don't check my sources. I didn't even bother asking if it was him or anything like that. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if I asked him for more information, because clearly if he was trolling, he would have come up with something else to push it around or say, oh, I'm skittish, I can't say anything here.
There's no evidence that I would have even responded if he would have requested more details.
Well, that's the other question. Like, if you didn't respond and when he asked for more information, maybe he wouldn't have gone with it. How far were you willing to go to have this happen? Like, you got lucky in the fact that he ran with it like the other guy told you he would. But what if he didn't? Did you consider that? I don't think you did.
Detail. As this doesn't appear to be the first time that a fake leak has been passed to SmashJT. I didn't deviate from what the other person said they did, was just send him information and he runs with it.
Literally proved nothing except that, yeah, you tried to confirm a rumor by claiming that you're an insider, when at the end of the day, now we just have you trying to troll somebody on a rumor that is still, in my opinion, very likely to occur. So congratulations on getting an own.
And he's still not wrong with that. Anyway, but the game getting closer to release, that rumor could, again, it may get pushed back a week before. You never know. Because you do know what date they're releasing it on, yeah?
No, I don't.
March 20. Do you know what the significance of that date is in Japan?
No.
It's the anniversary of the sarin gas attack.
Oh, geez.
Right, and this is a game set in feudal Japan with a huge black guy running around cutting down the locals.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
that might be
A bit insensitive.
an oversight.
Well,
yeah, just a little.
Look, at this point, all of the fuck-ups Ubisoft have made with this game when it comes to Japan and their cultural heritage, they're either really not paying any attention whatsoever, or they're doing it deliberately. It can only be one of those two things. Like, they're either that dumb or that deliberate. One of the two.
On me, if that's how you look at life, that's really pathetic and embarrassing, but hey.
I did this to demonstrate bad faith reporting in video game journalism, and how easy and not elaborate it is for it to happen. Smash sincerely, in this case there's many instances where at least I felt your reporting was inaccurate. It raised flags to me. The DMs that I received raised more flags, and exactly what those DMs said happened.
Different strokes for different folks. My concern now is there's going to be an influx of people that are going to be trying to do this to me. So I'm going to need to try to vet a lot harder and ignore a lot more of you. And that's really
where he runs the risk of missing out on an actual story, which, again, double-edged sword.
That's part of the risk of journalism. Yeah.
Right. Yep. No, absolutely. And he recognizes that. So more props.
Unfortunate.
Well, that's good. I'm glad he's going to vet a lot harder. And I'll also say, no one else should do this. I'm reporting on it, and this is a one-time exclusive. I don't want Smash bombarded with fake reports. That's not the outcome I'm looking for. The outcome was information and education around bad faith journalism. Does he have so many insider leaks that he can't get to? That's wild. I think the fact is you need more than a name and a role at a company. Smash, this wasn't elaborate. It was just a name and a role.
Because now this breaks the trust that I had with the community, where I need to put on a much harder filter with stuff that comes through on emails that I haven't been able to even keep up with myself, and I'm trying my best over here. And it's really unfortunate that something like this happens, that you need to now take a step back and be like, yep, now I can't give any credence to anybody, and now I'm going to be a little bit more gun shy when moving forward with stuff. So that's what they wanted. They wanted to knock me down. They wanted to bring me back down to earth and make me feel like I'm a nobody and that I suck and that I'm useless and all that. I'm like, great, that's what you got.
Geez, man, I don't want to make you feel like that, and I'm really sorry if I did make you feel like that. I certainly hope you don't actually take these criticisms in any way that you...
Yeah, see, this bit sounds really disingenuous to me. Like, and the whole way that the way that Drizzle's speaking here. The whole way through this video, it's been condescending and glancing down his nose, I think, at anyone that gets caught doing this, or it just seems... Ugh,
doesn't he just generally talk in this tone all the time? Like, it doesn't seem like
this
is particularly out of...
Nah, it just, it seems slimy to me. It reminds me of Pete Shea. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Feel like you're useless, etc., etc. Take this lesson and journey and learn from it. That's what I'm trying to do.
What's really sad, though, I'll say, is there's a lot of people in the community that I've seen that are...
And just for everyone that's watching, Pete Shea's a slimy flat earther who, thinks he's got a god complex. But he's also schizophrenic. I'll just leave that hanging there.
Cheering this on, that are like so excited.
The thing is, for me at least, it's the pattern I've been observing of poor reporting. And numerous other people notice that as well, so that should answer your question. And Smash, you have a whole website devoted to a gaming publication you don't like. You're also incredibly critical of gaming media, and there's nothing wrong with that. What would you...
Let's be fair, no one likes Kotaku. Hell, Kotaku is better than Fandom Pulse. I'm just leaving that there now.
Do if this happened to Kotaku? And I'm always down for a conversation
Oof is right.
around what good journalism should be, what bad journalism should be. Media in 2025 has changed a lot, so I tend to get my news and information from YouTube and X. I do think gaming publications like IGN and...
Yeah, that's probably a bad idea, getting all of your information from YouTube and X. There are other, sources that you can go to that aren't fucking corrupt. But again, take it all of it, every single last bit of it with a grain of fucking salt. Have some personal discernment, people.
Kotaku are really losing relevancy and eventually might be gone. And this activity was meant to investigate YouTubers that provide information using very nebulous information. Especially when they're hypercritical of the institution that they want to replace and are replacing. Yet all it took was a name and a role and a bunch of made up stuff to convince a YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers that, hey, I heard this from an insider. And it demonstrates that people will believe just about anything if it confirms their bias.
That they got and own. And and two, these people couldn't wait to get an own on me. And I'm like, why? What is it? What is it about me that you just want to bring me down? Like, genuinely, what is it? Is it just you don't like seeing people be successful in this world? Is it you don't want me to grow the channel because you feel like you're not amounting to anything in your life? Like, it's really sad. Like, I was reading through all the replies.
You're gonna be successful. There's nothing I can do to change that. And if we're saying successful, I'm measuring that by money and clicks. Money's a good one. That's a decent way to measure success in a lot of cases anyways. Like, you all seem happy. I'm not trying to take it from you. You have skills and you're trying to leverage them. I have skills. I'm trying to leverage them. I think if this reporting was about anyone else, you likely would be celebrating it. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. This will do a couple things. This will help your channel grow. You'll do the diligence to maybe appeal to a wider audience in the future. And it brings up the valuable question, should journalists ideally have some form of skill checks? You may agree or disagree, but there is a heavy case that they should. And currently, those skill checks are the community.
Like you said earlier, Canadian Jeebus, I'm pretty sure that's what they go to journalism school for.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It exists.
I mean,
you can do that.
And let's take that on board and like apply it to SmashJT. If he hasn't done anything like that before, he used to be a game tester for Sony. Like, he's been involved with massive retro, 8-bit player and all that sort of thing. Like, this isn't his original deal. Like, probably still learning. Hasn't been to journalism school, but again, seems to have more ethics and take a bit more responsibility than Drizzle has for any of the things that he's done in order to get this gotcha, with the air quotes there. I don't know how else to put it. Like, if I had to choose between one of these two guys, it'd be SmashJT, because he shows more just honesty with how he goes about things. Transparency, admitted when he was wrong, and Drizzle went and pinched someone's name and set up a fake email. And again, but the
But he
legal
also
stuff
immediately
aside,
said that he did it.
It's
He
unethical.
didn't try to hide it.
Well, it's still unethical to do that sort of thing. Use someone else's name to do something.
He kind of
like
said that.
Yeah, well, that's
He
true.
did say that, right?
Did,
you know,
yeah.
he was just like, I know that this was actually not something anybody else should do. It shouldn't be repeated. I should have thought more about it. Like, I mean, it's not like he's sitting there going, I did this exactly perfectly.
Yeah, no, true. All right, we nearly finished. It's got like, what, a minute or so to go.
One example,
Yeah.
going back to my investigation around Ember by Grums. If my information was incorrect, people would have been calling me out. And I'm happy to correct anything if that's the case, but that's not the case. In fact, anti-woke people started covering this. It's important for combating misinformation and identifying areas
I hate that. The label anti-woke and all that shit.
of improvement, as well as generally maintaining quality journalism, as these type of checks can help journalists meet a certain standard of reporting, which is crucial for public trust in the media. This was a social experiment, and a fascinating one at that. Now, Smash. I understand why you'd be frustrated, but I am glad that the end result is that you're going to put more effort into the vetting process. And that's honestly the best news for anyone, because we'll get the most accurate reporting from SmashJT.
And they were like, oh my God, you legend, you totally trolled him, you got him. I'm just like, what was the point of all this? I don't get it. I'm genuinely confused.
Yeah, I'm kind
all
of
this
curious
does
about
is,
that. What was
is
the
set
point?
back everything, but it is what it is.
Giving some peeks behind the curtain is not setting everything back by any means. It gets people talking about ethics in video game journalism, and that's a good thing. The fact is,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's your ethics I'm questioning here, so yeah, I guess.
not many people would think that the due diligence would be that, hey, anybody could have sent this. And just because it sounds like it could be right seems like a wild reason to publish it. It's weird that these leakers aren't going to Asmongold and other folks, right? Smash, I hope you appreciated this activity, and I'm always available to chat about it. It showed that the burden of proof simply just needs to be a name and a role. And this, folks, is what I think is fascinating journalism. I think it's incredibly valuable insight, and love me or hate me, I hope you found it interesting. But I think it was important for us all to get a little sneak behind the curtain. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video on yellow journalism. It's probably not perfect, but it's something.
And there we have it. So Canadian Davis, final thoughts on that?
I think they should both say they're sorry.
Being Canadian, you would. But no, I can't disagree with you there. Honestly, it's, and Smash has definitely done that. Whereas Omar's still going on, you know, but anyway, let's get to this.
But he's also saying he's open to talking,
journalism.
right? Like, he's not...
Right.
Oh.
So, I found this article. I haven't read through it completely yet, but I thought we'd go through it. Ethics in the media has been and continues to be one of the cornerstones of journalism, and since that is what we're talking about, and it's pretty relevant. Why? Well, this is because journalists have the responsibility to remain objective and truthful in their reporting due to their influence over the public. So, ethical journalists should seek truth and report it. I'm sure you've heard the saying, honesty is the best policy, and this stands particularly true in journalism. The SPJ explains that ethical journalism should be accurate and fair. Journalists should be honest and courageous in gathering, reporting, and interpreting information. Okay? A consistent theme throughout the principle is that journalists can practice ethical journalism by ensuring that the information they are reporting is accurate and truthful. Yeah, it sounds pretty reasonable so far. They can do this by using original sources when available and verifying information as they go. Furthermore, journalists should never plagiarize but always credit their sources. The SPJ highlights that journalists should clearly identify their sources, ensuring that they are reliable and have no hidden motives. Which, that's a bit of a problem. Here we go. Moreover, journalists should take a source's motives into account before promising anonymity. Sources should only remain anonymous if they face danger, retribution, or harm as a result of coming forward with information. Making the verification hard again, and how do you, So, under the principle seek truth and report it. Journalists should also remember that remember that neither spread nor formal excuses excuses inaccuracy, be vigilant and oh my God, I can't speak or read today. Be vigilant and courageous about holding those with power accountable, giving a voice to the voiceless. Support the open and civil exchange of views, even views they find repugnant. Now, Drizzle went and blocked me, despite the fact that I said, well, what do you think about this? Anyway, recognize a special obligation to serve as watchdogs over public affairs and government. This is more, I think, in general to like mainstream reporting and stuff like that. So, but again, should still stand true for this. Ensure that the public's business is conducted in the open and that public records are open to all. Boldly tell the story of diversity and magnitude of the human experience. Seek sources from marginalized groups, and this is getting into all of the rest of it, as those voices we seldom hear, and avoid stereotyping. Journalists should examine the ways that their values and experiences may shape their reporting. Okay? So, all of these, you can look this up online yourself. The 4 pillars of journalism are seek truth and report it. Always seek truth and report it. Ethical journalism minimizes harm. Ethical journalists act independently, okay? And be accountable and transparent. Now, I went and asked Grok. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to say on this because it's just an AI is a way that I collate and get together information. Being the autistic caffeinated squirrel, it sometimes gets hard for me to sit patiently and do stuff like that. So this is a great tool for me. But I asked it, I fed it all of the information about what's gone on with McDizzle and Smash and asked it, okay, has Dizzle acted with the 4 pillars of journalism ethics in mind? So, Grok told me, you're asking about the ethics of McDizzle's actions, particularly his trolling of SmashJT using Runzu's identity, and whether he's violated the 4 pillars of journalism in his reporting or behavior. Let's break it down and we'll give you. The 4 pillars of journalism, often cited as foundational ethical standards, are truth, independence, fairness, and accountability. We just went through those. McDizzle isn't a traditional journalist, even though he called himself a reporter and a journalist in his video. He's a YouTuber and troll. Yeah. Framing his actions as exposing SmashJT's lack of source verification. But if we evaluate his behavior through this lens, here's how it stacks up. Truth. Violation. McDizzle's stunt, using Runzu's identity to send SmashJT a fake Assassin's Creed Shadows delay email, was a deliberate lie, not truth. The Discord chat that he showed himself shows a plan to feed SmashJT false insider info, including this and prior BioWare leaks, knowing he'd posted unverified. This directly undermines the pillar of truth, as McDizzle prioritized deception and over accuracy to manipulate SmashJT and his audience. Context, he might argue it's a lesson in source checking, but the intent, per the chat, to blow SmashJT up and gain subs shows it's less about truth and more about harm and self-promotion. And Dizzle actually said that at the start of his visit, or when he was explaining what that person had posted him. He said, oh, I didn't want to blow him up or anything like that, but no, you did. Independence, violation.
Well, I don't know we know what he
on,
wanted, but...
Well,
I don't know that we know what he wanted, but we certainly know what the person who messaged him thought he could do.
That's true. Which, again, conspiracy sort of thing. I don't know about that, allegedly. Independence. So the violation. The Discord chat reveals, and this is where you just brought that up, McDizzle wasn't acting independently. He coordinated with someone else who suggested the plan and had a history of tricking SmashJT, if that's true. This external influence undermines independence, as his actions were guided by another party with an agenda against SmashJT. If that collaborator had a personal beef or financial stake, it's a clear conflict of interest violating this pillar. Context, McDizzle's video might spin it as his own idea, but the chat proves otherwise, and he showed it in his video, showing he's not free of external bias or manipulation. Fairness, the violation. McDizzle's actions weren't fair to SmashJT or Runzu. He targeted SmashJT specifically, and I brought that up, setting him up to look unreliable without giving him a chance to defend himself or verify the source, which, again, he could have gone further.
Oh, well, no, he didn't remove his... No, I think Grok is wrong. He didn't remove his ability to verify the source because the other guy could have just not published.
Cool. Yeah, no,
because
that's
said, I have
true.
insufficient information to publish.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Done.
But Zoo, an innocent, Zoo, an innocent party, had his identity exploited without consent. And again, I am fuzzy on the fact that SmashJT showed the name. He could have probably contacted him another way, maybe. I don't know. I'm not too sure on if that's right or not. But anyway, creating an imbalance when neither had a fair say. The Discord chats blow SmashJT up. Goal shows intent to harm, not balance or fairness. Context, there's no evidence McDizzle sought SmashJT's side or corrected the record beyond gloating. Hardly fair reporting, even if he calls it satire or exposure. And I tend to agree there. Accountability. Partial violation. McDizzle does show accountability in his videos by admitting what he did, using Zoo's details, sending the fake email, and coordinating with someone. He even shared the Discord chat, which is transparent about the plan. But it's accountability with a smirk, not remorse. And that's what I said at the end. It's like he's looking down at his nose like Pete Shea. He framed it as a lesson, not an apology, and didn't address the harm to SmashJT or Zoo, e.g. correcting the record or reaching out to them. If Smash's rep took a hit, as I've said, and I did say that up in there, because I've seen people on X say, no, don't trust him anymore, and, you know, move away from him as a report, as a source of information. I won't, you know. So people doubt his reliability after that. McDizzle hasn't taken responsibility for that fallout, violating this pillar's spirit. Context, his subscriber gaining intent suggests accountability was secondary to self-interest, not a genuine effort to uphold journalistic standards. Overall ethical assessment. McDizzle's actions don't align with the 4 pillars of journalism. He prioritized deception, external influence, unfair targeting, and self-promotion over truth, independence, fairness, and accountability. Even if he's not a journalist by traditional standards, invoking exposure or lessons doesn't excuse exposing Zoo's identity or damaging SmashJT's rep. The Society of Professional Journalism, SPJ, which was mentioned in the article, and I'll post all the links for all of this in the Grok chat in the description after the live stream here, which aligns with these pillars, would likely condemn this as unethical, urging accuracy, minimizing harm, minimizing harm and transparency, none of which McDizzle prioritized here. Broader context of that, Smash's role. As a gaming insider, SmashJT has a duty to verify his sources, absolutely, but McDizzle's setup, per the chat, exploited that vulnerability maliciously. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, I think it's got its points.
Right.
I think that it's they're both messed up.
And of course, I'm focusing it on McDizzle here because I trust Smash more than I do this guy. So obviously, I've got some bias myself when it comes to this.
Right. I don't know either of these guys. I just think they both fucked up.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's there you go. So yeah, where was I? McDizzle's setup, as per the chat, exploited that vulnerability maliciously, not constructively. The reputational harm you mentioned shows the real-world impact, raising ethical questions about McDizzle's responsibility. And he blocked me for asking him about it. Just saying. Zoo's involvement. Using Zoo's identity without consent breaches ethical norms of harm, minimization, and respect for individuals, even if no legal actions follow. So even if no one takes any legal action against him, it was still unethical for him to do this. Public reaction. X and YouTube likely slammed McDizzle for this, and they did. There's many comments calling him out for this shit. Check comments or posts for how people view his ethics versus his prank defense. So, has he violated anything specific to journalism ethics? Yes. All 4 pillars, making his actions deeply unethical by journalistic standards. No film journalism body oversees McDizzle, but if he's presenting this as reporting, which he did, I'm making a report, I'm doing journalism here, he said that, exposing SmashJT. He's failed those standards spectacularly. The SPJ, or Canadian Association of Journalists, CAG, sorry, I got that wrong, would call this out as reckless and harmful, urging correction and apology, neither of which he's shown. And that's the end of it. Anything else I'm curious about? I couldn't ask anything for a couple of hours there. I hammered Grok this time.
Yeah,
so that's that.
Yeah, I think they just need to just do better. Right. All the game journalists need to do better.
Everyone can always do better.
Enjoy playing games. Games are meant to be fun.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Lavistro would agree.
Like, I don't care if they're woke or if they're... You know what? If you have fun playing, just play.
There's been gay shit in games since day dot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Well, I guess that's the end of that. We've gone through McDizzle's video. We've had a look at everything and both of them and sort of chastised both of them. I'm still chastising McDizzle more for this shit than Smash. Smash has put more effort into accountability, I think, than McDizzle. That's my final thought.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. He just needs to put more effort into vetting.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. Yeah, absolutely right. So, yeah. Well, I want to thank everyone in the chat. Sorry, go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, just gonna say as a final thought, we as gamers, we love getting those early tidbits, right? But I know that different companies, they try to keep secrets.
Yeah.
For a reason, right? Like, and to some degree, it's for us, right? Like, look at Nintendo. They work pretty hard to avoid leaks. They still have leaks from time to time. But they want a big surprise, right? Like, they want to do a grand unveiling that everybody can get excited about. I mean, it's good for sales and stuff, too. But it's fun for us. And, it's certainly a lot less fun when some official announcement comes out and absolutely everything that's going to happen because it's been leaked out like crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why I've sort of I've stopped looking at much about. Like, I watch a trailer, I won't try to look into too many details about it, except for, of course, Yasuke Simulator, which everyone should go and wishlist on Steam right now because that's going to be Game of the Year for 2025. I'm calling it now. I'm going to play the trailer for that too. But yeah, no, look, I think we've gone as far as we can with this. People need to do better. And yeah, don't use someone else's name to send fake information. That's not cool. That's not cool.
Exactly.
So, well, thank you for joining me, Canadian Jeebus Zed, and hopefully I can get you back again at some point in the future if we need you. Well, you're always hanging around. You're everywhere. You Canadian Jeebus.
I am omnipresent with the power of the holy syrup.
So yeah, well, thanks everyone for joining in the chat. And if you watch this, Dizzle, take it on board. Don't use someone else's name, and yeah, we'll leave it there. So thanks for joining, and I'm going to play a Carbot animation for the outro and the final thing after that. So thanks for joining.
Don't let them take the mission area.
This place must be defended. Some healing would do me well.
Yeah! Woo! Crack the whip! Yo, whip! Your powers are mine! Spider Sling! Over here! Maybe I'm getting good at this hero thing. Oops, found the bad guy. You get a web, and you get a web, and you get a web.
Friends, gather around.
Hey, sorry, team. There's no bad guys left.
Friends, we need to fall back.
Buy my book! 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 Buy my
money, print money, cash, money, Welp, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash, money, Welp, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, super chat, money.
As salty as the sea, calling us